Scott.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties for perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Thank you. You may have a seat.
I just saying what I gotta say.
Well, and
Or you have some questions for me, sir? My daughter's name is.
What would you like to say for the judge to?
Well, I got a few things to say, quite frankly. There was, and I want to start out. I kind of got the pages mixed up when I come up here. I wrote it down because I just want to make it abundantly clear on a few things. First and foremost, I could not do your guys' job. I couldn't listen to what you guys have to listen to, and to make decisions based on that. Okay. So if I say anything that might sound off on that, I just want to clarify that right now. Secondly, let me get this right here separated. I am here for my daughter. I do not have any ulterior motives. There is nothing concerning me whatsoever, my past, present, innocent, guilt, or anything at all to do with me. As a matter of fact, I might say some things that might do me harm in the future, and I do not care. I do not care. I tell you, I would gladly sign a 10-year plea bargain for. I got, matter of fact, I'll say it in open court. I got 3 pending cases right now. I'll sign a plea bargain right now for 10 years. You give him an extra 5. Because it's appalling. I'm a little upset about it, but I know we could all get lost in our jobs. Is there a person that works in this field that didn't get in this for your heart because to do what's right? That plea is trash. That charge is trash. I'm sorry, I'm going off base here. But I'm here for my daughter. And my children and her loved ones too, as well. I already kind of touched on this. I'm not here to criticize anybody. Nothing I'm saying or going to say is in reference to anyone's ability or personal attack in any way whatsoever, professional or otherwise. Not only has he showed no remorse or accountability, matter of fact, you see where he looked at me when he came up? He openly boasted about his crime and minimized his crime, even blaming my daughter and myself for what he done. And I'll get to that in just a moment. He has threat retaliation as such, too, as well. When he found out that I had, in fact, intentionally went to jail when I knew he was up there. Lucky him, he caught another charge. I was prepared, my friend. Okay? I want to say thank you for allowing me this moment to speak on my daughter's behalf to the best of my ability. I just ask you to listen to me as objectively as possible.
Your Honor, before he goes any farther, and this is just with respect to his rights as a criminal. If he is represented by an attorney, I want him to understand.
I fully understand my rights. I waive them.
Okay, Your Honor, I just want to make that abundantly clear that I'm not forcing him to say anything. I'm not asking him any questions with respect to his open.
Okay. I've never spoken to him a day in my life.
Well, and I think the concern.
I'm not going to say anything about
I
you.
don't know what you have pending, but
ain't.
make sure that you understand
Yes.
anything you say. If you're under
I
oath,
understand.
could be used against you.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
And you are not, and I want you to affirm, I am not asking you any questions.
You have in no way asked me anything, inferred, implied, or suggested directly, indirectly, through anybody in any kind of way, shape, or form. I don't know if I can make that any more clear.
Understood.
I'm just saying that, yes, I do have 2 pending cases. I would be more willing to sign a 10, whether I was guilty of it or not. I'd sign a 10, I'd sign a 20-year, you give him 10. I'd sign a 25-year, you give him 15.
Judge, at this point,
I haven't even, no.
for the record,
I got,
the alleged victim is an adult. She has chosen not to be here.
I find that insulting, but it would have been nice to allow the
Sir,
victim
if
to
you
have
can let
this.
him finish.
Yes, ma'am.
Certainly, there are occasions where family members can provide
Chief
victim
minor.
impact statements. So far, I've got to say that what we've heard today doesn't come anywhere close to relevant victim impact statement. I would object as to this witness being able to testify about any conversations he's had with his daughter in reference to this case. Again, he has had an opportunity to appear today and has chosen not to.
Am I allowed to rebuttal that?
Hold on, sir. I will note the objection on the record. I will overrule it as to victim impact can be provided, not necessarily only by the victim themselves. However, sir, I will admonish you at this point going forward, the focus needs to be on impact to your daughter and how it's affected things.
Yes.
So any further conversations or comments about
Yes.
your cases or, you know.
Well, the reason I say that is because they are relevant. They do apply. And if you just let me finish it, and I'll get right to it. I mean, I can gloss over things, but they need to be touched on before we get to this. These are things that were used to get her at a place of even more vulnerability and manipulation. You see what I'm saying? That's how he got to this place. And
Let's just focus on your daughter, not necessarily, for instance,
Yes,
say
ma'am.
that you were in the jail and any.
well, no, I just mentioned that. I didn't really. That isn't even in my notes.
I understand.
That just kind of came out. I didn't mean for that. So I apologize to the victim. I didn't mean to hurt his feelings.
You may proceed as to it relates to the impact this has had on your
Okay,
daughter.
okay. I just, because, and the reason is she isn't here, since I am speaking on her behalf, she is absolutely shook by this. Shook. For one, I am going to say, quite frankly, she didn't talk ever since she was spoken to the day he was arrested, never got a phone call since. She's called a couple times up there when he would be removed from the jail staff registry because he was going to the hospitals. She wouldn't know where he was. I'd track him down. I'd figure it out. I'd tell her everything's fine. He's not out. You ain't got to worry. I assumed, I was told that it was, I think there was some miscommunication somewhere. I don't believe it was intentional. Somebody thought they spoke to her. Nobody did. I was coming up here when I heard about the plea bargain. I was entirely upset. And when I heard about the plea, I called you, and you did a great job at divulging a lot of client personal information, too.
Sir, I think we're getting kind of off track, so.
Well, I found
let me
out-
ask this, does your daughter know
Yes,
about this hearing?
Yeah. I start. There's a lot of these are her words. You know what I'm saying? This is what she said. This is how she came to explain it to me.
Judge, again, I'm going to object to him allegedly reading a letter from his daughter. She had an opportunity to be here. She could have written her own letter. This seems like an end around. But I object to any further testimony.
I will note it on the record, overruled. You may read the letter, sir.
Thank you. I just want to start because I'm here to speak on my daughter's behalf. She is not some victim. She is a person, a beautiful person who was intentionally preyed upon, who had. She tried to speak out in a lot of ways and couldn't find anybody to talk to on certain subjects. He would listen. And I believe that was because he perceived weakness in her. And I seen it the minute I met him together. And I, from the start, told her that I felt like it was to harm her. But that's not her words, that's mine, so her words. And and I was a victim as well before you didn't let me finish this as well, because there was cause for him to do what he did. He beat my daughter up. She showed up at my house, bloody, and sobbing in a way I've never heard of. And go home, stay there. He'll be here, because that's what predators do. They manipulate the weak, and they start thinking they can manipulate, or other people around them. Anyway, and this is really cutting it short since he's objecting so adamantly. That's why I say I want to thank you for her voice being heard, because the only person that listened to her voice up to that point was a predator who wants to be perceived in a certain way, which barely has a place in fiction. And there's a bunch of stuff I could tell you, about her past, evidently, which is And it is relevant. It's extremely relevant. Matter of fact, I'll leave these notes for the court and you can read them. Since it's so horrible to hear such things. I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But I am very familiar of the torture a victim of such a crime endures. My mother was. So I'm saying this is how I know, because he wanted to know how my daughter's words.
But the point of victim impact, again, is to focus on your daughter.
Okay.
And how
I can skip
it
that.
impacted her.
Well, I just didn't want you to think my words were coming from somebody who didn't know. I just
No one
saying.
said that, but let's stay focused to
Okay.
focus on your
Okay.
daughter.
I see the harm that the victim has gone through. She has over the years, she's tried to be vocal about what he's done, is what I was going to say, but that seems to be objectionable. Because after he had attacked her, I beat him up like a girl in my front yard, and I took away his manhood from him. So it was a direct retaliation, is what it was, to show her that her dad wasn't so tough and could not protect her. And that took something away from her that and that her father could protect her. You didn't take it. You thought you did. You almost did. But I ain't done. I'm here because I have a total objection to that plea bargain. I don't see anything remotely mitigating in what circumstance when he burglarized her house and had to get ripped off of her. He got out and then commits 2 more crimes while in jail. Shows no remorse. I bet. Referring to the mistakes that I have seen, I'm not going to pick those apart. It's not my job. I'm not a lawyer. And I obviously have to cherry pick what I say here, but sex offender registration is not supervision. GPS is. Prison is not a mental health facility. Civil commitment is. Suspending time to probation, which is ill-equipped to supervise a defendant such as him, parole is much more adequate. Don't suspend it. It's automatic. I just don't understand any of this. So she's had a lot to say. She said a lot of personal things in here. And quite frankly, the absolute disrespect out of you is insufferable. I don't know how you sleep, quite honestly. And I don't know how anybody would be able to sleep signing that plea. I know you got to do your job to the best of your ability. I'm sure you've done that today. Probably way more than he deserves, sir. So I commend you on that. You got some work ethic. I had some very serious issues with the victim's rights handling this. Not one thing, and I have all that. I'm aware that he's under 4-1, should have been subsection B. I don't know how you manage that level 3. 535, 3 concerning plea bargains, notification, 3-3.
Are you done talking about your daughter?
It pertains to her because it pertains to him getting out to her. I guess I'm not allowed to say what the problems I have with the plea. I object to it. Oh, there's no justice in that plea. There's not mentioned her name in it one time in that plea bargain. No restitution. She's got firearms. I'd like to at least have 37 cents. 37 cents. That's the cost of one .45 caliber bullet out of the case she's got. I think that's about all it'll take. Anyway, Your Honor, I just ask you to reconsider that plea. I'm begging you to. I implore you, I behoove you with everything that I am. I don't know what else to say to you. I wish I could say something. I obviously can't. It's offensive to the state a little bit, I'm sure. I apologize for nothing. I'd say more, but it would only disrespect you, and I'm not going to do that. But I want you to honestly look at that and be like, okay, in 20 years, I'm not going to have to hand this plea bargain to the next victim. And be like, yeah, we gave this guy this. Because I can name off the top of my head 5 cases in the last 3 years who reoffended in more violent ways than they did.
Well, and sir, again, this is the victim impact for this
I know,
case.
I know,
Okay.
I know. But I'm a victim as well.
Anything else as it relates to how
The lack of information from the beginning has just been atrocious.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, I appreciate you coming and speaking on behalf of how this has affected your daughter. I take that very serious.
feelings we've heard today from the victim's father. Fair under the circumstances.
This is a type of offense that is based on power and control. What I will say, and what I will, is that by entering an agreement, it does not put the victim in this case through a trial and causing her to relive and recount what she's already been subjected to once and is struggling to accept and move on in life. Again, as a accepting responsibility and not causing the victim in this matter to go through than what she's already been through. I do note that on the F3, Mr. Baker guilty to the level 3 felony, that the sentence agreed to by the state as well as the defense is a 10-year sentence, which is above the advisory for the level 3 felony, to the 10 years with 6 years executed and 4 years